Ever feel like you're almost there, teetering on the edge of something massive, only to trip over your own feet? You're driven, you have the goals, you're putting in the hours, but that nagging feeling that you're holding yourself back, that's not just imposter syndrome. It's a hidden pattern of self-sabotage, and you're probably engaging with it more than you realize. Because achieving that next level, that dream job, that meaningful relationship, doesn't just involve hard. It requires you to actively dismantle the invisible barriers you've built. The biggest mistake ambitious Gen Z makes is believing that relentless hustle alone is enough, overlooking the crucial element of psychological preparedness. A classic example is the Zeigarnik effect, which demonstrates that unfinished tasks create mental tension, and often, you might unconsciously choose a less challenging path to avoid confronting the discomfort of potentially failing a truly ambitious goal, even though that failure would ultimately propel your growth. It's a subconscious preference for the familiar anxiety of incompletion over the potential disappointment of striving for something truly transformative. You're likely confusing comfort with safety, and that's precisely where that creeping doubt originates. Because, as Ryan Holiday points out in The Obstacle is the Way, every impediment is a chance to build resilience, to refine your strategy. Ignoring that perspective means willingly choosing stagnation. Don't underestimate the power of perceived threat. Often, the closer you get to a significant achievement, the more your brain will trigger defensive mechanisms, whispering anxieties about inadequacy or the potential disruption to your current social standing. It's your amygdala, the brain's fear center, sounding the alarm because change is inherently unsettling. You might be secretly avoiding vulnerability, convinced that showing ambition and a desire for growth will expose weakness. But remember that vulnerability isn't weakness. Brené Brown's work extensively proves that it's the birthplace of innovation, connection, and courage. Hiding your aspirations isn't protection. It's insulation from opportunities. A key warning sign that you're leveling up is that you've started experiencing a surge of anxiety and procrastination. It's your brain's way of saying, "This is different. This is bigger than anything you've done before." And resisting that feeling with more grinding, not introspection, only reinforces the cycle of self-sabotage. Consider the concept of learned helplessness, observed in Martin Seligman's experiments. If you consistently expose yourself to situations where you feel powerless, you're more likely to give up on future challenges, even when you have the potential to succeed. You're likely obsessed with external validation, seeking constant reassurance from others to justify your efforts, when true motivation comes from within. As Theodore Roosevelt famously said, "Believe you can and you're halfway there." Your need for external approval stems from a deeper fear of being judged, a fear that's often rooted in past experiences, but allowing that fear to dictate your actions will ultimately limit your potential. Are you noticing an increased desire to compare yourself to others online? That's another shock sign. You're witnessing the success of people around you, and instead of feeling inspired, you're experiencing a sense of inadequacy. This isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a consequence of the curated, often unrealistic, portrayal of success on social media. Remember that comparison is the thief of joy. Focus on your own journey, your own metrics of success, and celebrate every small victory along the way. As Angela Duckworth's research on grit shows, consistent effort, not innate talent, is the strongest predictor of achievement. You're holding onto a rigid definition of success, clinging to a specific timeline and a narrow vision of what it means to make it, when life rarely follows a straight line. This inflexibility breeds disappointment and fuels self-doubt. A hidden reason you might be sabotaging yourself is a subconscious desire to protect your ego. Admitting that you need to change, to learn, to grow, can feel like a personal defeat. But genuine growth demands a willingness to confront your flaws and challenge your beliefs. So, the challenge isn't just about setting ambitious goals. It's about actively confronting the psychological forces that work against you. Stop diagnosing why you're struggling and start designing your mental strategies. Now, actively identify one self-sabotaging behavior you engage in and dismantle it, starting today.